Okay, so why am I up here again? I'm just always super grateful when you get invited somewhere and you even like get paid the flights. So like I have sort of like a vacation that's cheaper for me, and like I just love it so much that lots of communities.
This time I have to say that you want to contribute. You have a special box for that. You have Tobias to fly again. You have to put your contribution in that box or use the donate button on our website. Thank you.
So I'm just immensely happy about that. So I was like, oh, well, like I can do 2 talks. And they were like, 2 talks, isn't that a bit much? I was like, yeah, I did that. Actually, when I went to Vilnius, I did that. It was quite stressful. But then we're like, oh, maybe you can do a lightning talk. And they had like an inspirational lightning talk. So this is my version of an inspirational lightning talk. I hope you like it, and I hope you find where the inspirational part is. Okay. So in these meetups and in conference, or lots of Ruby conference, we just talk about hard skills, as in we talk about benchmarking, we talk about Kafka, and those are hard technical skills that we talk about, that we learn. We talk about code refactoring, we talk about all of this. But a topic that is present more than in other communities, in the Ruby community, but still not as much, I would say, is soft skills. It's things like communication, empathy, time management, learning. There's tons and tons of these soft skills. Like how do you run a meeting? Those are not like these hard technical skills, but those are soft skills. And I want to see a show of hands here. And I mean, of course, this depends. What do you believe is more important? I know it's very hard to say without giving you the context of the company or something. Who thinks that hard skills are more important as a programmer? We're not talking about managers or something, but as a programmer, or who thinks that soft skills are more important? So who thinks hard skills are more important overall? Okay, about half the room. And who thinks that soft skills are more important? The other half of the room. That's fun. Okay, then my opinion on the matter, because as always, we're talking lots about opinions. My opinion is that soft skills are more important overall. And why is that? When I think of a very hard programmer, I think of this seal just screaming at me. And I speak from experience. What I want to say there is like, this one is very good at, I don't know, killing stuff or whatever it does. It's very good at that. But it just sits in a corner and screams at you. And you don't think, like, what I'm talking about here is like someone that has very, very good hard skills. They know the ins and outs of Ruby, Kafka, and Elixir, or whatever. But when you talk to them, they just scream at you. They're like, are you stupid? Why are you asking me this question? In meetings, they never contribute. They just sit in their corner and they do their thing. And I think that is very, very toxic for a team as a whole. Because if someone has very, very bad soft skills, they might do their thing. They might do like their code well, but nobody else knows how to do it. That is do you know the term truck number? No? Okay, some people. So the truck number is how many people in the team can be run over by a truck without you using any knowledge. Or bus number. Or bus factor. Yeah. And that is one then. And at the same time, this person can, like, it's not only that, like, you lose all the knowledge and nobody knows what a person does. But at the same time, it's toxic because it infects the other people. I have worked with people, sadly, that you have an open discussion about how can you implement a feature, and people would just go, that's stupid, or like, that will never work. Like this sort of very negative thing. It starts that other people won't contribute as much. They'll like be pulled back and are just scared of whatever, or just in the pull request we go like, oh, this is just so dumb, why do you do that? That's very bad and gets the whole motivation down. And I don't have the paper cited, but one of my professors in Sweden used to cite a study that says that you can, if you're very, very unmotivated, and you can just still do 20% of the work that you're capable of, but still retain your job. And there's a huge gap in there. And one of these people can demotivate 10 other people at least, or even more. And that will get your whole team down. Nobody will enjoy work and will be very, very bad. On the other hand, if we talk about people that have like good soft skills, or at least mediocre soft skills, or that don't act like total dickheads all the time, let's say, it is much better. I would much rather, if given the choice, I would have someone with good soft skills but very, very low hard skills, or someone with very, very good hard skills but very low soft skills. I would always go for the one in my team with better soft skills, because it's much, much easier to work with them, and they will actually contribute to the team as a whole. They will learn new stuff. I can trust them to learn new things. They will contribute. They will be helpful. They will ask for help if they get stuck. They will do all these things. They will be a valuable team member. They might not be as good technically at this moment, but I can trust them to grow into that role, which is why I believe that is better. And so this lightning talk is called "It's About the Humans." Stupid, because I think because we don't develop something in a basement somewhere. We all work together in companies of like sizes between, I don't know, one, maybe that's still the basement, but then to 200 people. We will always work together with someone. There is no such thing as someone sitting in the basement doing all the programming. That doesn't exist. And the real title of this is everything I want everyone who works in groups to know that I can fit in 5 to 10 minutes. There might be a bigger version of that something. Firstly, empathy. Who here knows what empathy is? Oh, I don't have to. I don't have to talk about that. Next slide. Okay, very, very quickly. It's depending on which definition. That's great that all of you know. I'm just fascinated. Depending on which definition you follow, it's the ability to put yourself in one other's place, to feel what they feel, and then also, if appropriate, act accordingly. So that you see someone is unwell and you try to help them instead of just being mean to them. Another thing that is very, very important to me is the theory of motivation. There's lots and lots of motivational theories that I all very much enjoy, but this one is one of my favorites, which is Daniel Pink, Drive. This is a link, like I'll post the slides online, but you can just Google it, or like on YouTube, Google Daniel Pink Drive, and this is an RSA animate. It's 10 minutes, and it's so much worth your time. But the key points are the following. Daniel says that motivation isn't as much based on sticks and carrots, which is like, okay, you get paid more, now you're more motivated, right? It doesn't work like that. You're motivated if you're paid enough to sustain your lifestyle, or let's say above average. And then the 3 major contributing factors are autonomy, which means what the nice man is drawing there, direct thyself. We want to be self-driven. We don't like to be the command and control from somewhere up there. We like to give them the freedom to work at what we can. Also, we like to pursue mastery. We like to get better at what we do, and we like to get given the opportunity. If I'll just write CRUD controllers for the rest of my life with very simple code, I won't be that happy. And in the end, also purpose. Purpose means that when I get up in the morning to work, I want to work on something that I feel is relevant somewhere. So my example for me is that like I would never want to work in the advertisement business, because I don't want to get up every day and be like, oh, well, I showed more adverts or more better adverts for people. That's great. I hate adverts. I don't want to do that. I want to get up every day and do that. I mean, it's super interesting because it's lots of data, but in the end, I'm not happy with that. Where I work right now, I mean, we do same day delivery. It's not like I'm not saving the world or anything, but somewhere someone gets a package on the same day and is happy because they received whatever, their new clothes or whatever, or their food. And it's a good thing, at least. Like, I can sort of get behind that. So this is very important and to me. Next thing, code review culture. We all do code reviews, and so many things can be improved or destroyed within a code review. First thing, it's all like you always talk about the code, never about the person. Like, no comment should ever be personal. Why are you doing this? Are you dumb? No, like, can we do this better? Why is this code like this? Couldn't we do it in another way? Also, always say something positive, because whatever a person did, like, they tried really hard to do that. I trust people, especially if you do open source. Like, even if someone submits a very, very bad pull request, they took the time and tried to improve my project, and it's a lot of time. Even if it's 2 lines, they had to read into the project. So always say something positive. Thank you. This part is good, or something like that. Also, everyone reviews. One of the most broken cultures is if only the team lead reviews, because then that is the big gatekeeper and just whips people like, no, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. If everyone reviews, everyone is in both shoes, both the reviewer and the reviewee, and contribution will be better as a result. And what we like to do is pairing reviews. So at first we do the code review, and then maybe if it's very, very big or has very, very controversial points, we then sit together and go through the points one by one. Because sometimes synchronous communication is much, much better for conveying meaning, because you have so many more channels that you can talk through, because you have emotions, you have your voice and everything else. If possible, do that. Also, what's very important to me in an interview and otherwise, admit that you don't know something. Something that I hate the most is when people just sit in a meeting and be like, yeah, 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 and then they should implement, they have no idea what they should do. Or in an interview, if I ask someone a question and they're like, they try to bullshit me with like an answer, and they like, do I look like I don't know the answers to my own questions? I know what these people think, and like a good response is like, oh, I don't know that. Can you tell me? Because then you show that you're interested in something. At the same time, every time you hear a word that you don't know, ask people. Every time you don't hear something like protocol buffers or whatever the thing is called, and you're like, oh, I don't know what it is, ask the person. You miss a chance otherwise to learn something new and something cool. Yeah, ask. And a very, very valuable lesson that I learned maybe a bit too late with all my involvements that I have is it seems, the first time I read this, or I heard this from a lecturer at HPI, I was outrageous. They said, every no is a yes to yourself. It was outrageous. Like, why would be saying no to something? Why would it be a yes to myself? But in the end, maybe some people here know that when you're very involved, like people ask you for more, like, oh, could you also organize this event? Or could you also contribute to this library, do this and this? Sometimes it gets too much, and then I was at that point once, and you need to learn to say no. Say like, no, I can't do this. Like, I really like you, I would like to do this, but for myself, I can't do this. And that's where every no becomes a yes to yourself. It's a very hard-learned, valuable lesson. You might also wonder, why am I listening to all this? I'm a programmer, I want to become a programmer. Like, why? I'm not a team lead, I'm not a manager or something. It goes about leadership is happening at every level. Even if you're in a team, you always lead in one way or another. You might lead a particular project, or you might show some behavior and people adopt. It's always about leadership at every level. Not every manager or every lead programmer can catch all the work. Everyone helps a bit with leadership at part in a well-functioning, healthy organization. And the most important part about that is to lead by example. Meaning, if I want people to be on time, I can't be late. Because that would be just like, oh, I'm the boss or whatever, I can come whenever, and then why should other people listen to me? At the same time, if I do code reviews, I need to be as nice as I want other people to be there, because whatever I do or whatever people do will become the accepted general behavior. If I just insult people all the time, then like the other people would do the same. And that's not good. So be the version that you want everyone else to be. So I hope that was inspiring for you, and I inspired you to look into motivation and soft skills topics. And yeah, please enjoy working with humans. Thank you.